Hi folks, it's the Bastard in here, and well, this is actually going to be the rant video about today's, in this generation consoles, ridiculous exclusives that are going to appear on PC anyway. Yeah. I mean, let's take fucking Street Fighter 5, which is coming out right now. It is going to be PlayStation 4 exclusive, and still it appears on PC anyway. What's the fucking point? That's not exclusivity. Has someone lost the memo somewhere on the line what exclusive means? Why? There's just literally no freaking reason for me to go out there and get console when I can get it on PC anyway. With the same price that I spend on a console, I can easily upgrade my PC to be as powerful, if not actually even more powerful than the console itself, especially in these days prices that computer parts are on. It doesn't take much. I mean, whoopee shit do. If you already have a freaking PC, then there is just literally no point of getting a console. You can take that same amount, that $400, $500, which were Xbox and PS4 launch prices. You could take that and spend it on new graphics card, and you could get so much more out of your game, graphically and setting wise. You could easily play most of the games that these days consoles, in this generation consoles, have trouble running at 1080p 60 frames per second. You could easily run at high settings. You could easily do that on PC. Meanwhile, if you go get PlayStation 4, you get all of these games. Yeah, sure, most of them do run at 1080p, but they run at 30 frames per second, and they are at medium settings at the best. So there is literally no reason for me to go and get a freaking console. But no, this is not about console being underpowered. This is about exclusivity. And this generation's consoles, their exclusives are a fucking joke. All of the games, pretty much all of the games that has appeared on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are going to appear on PC anyway. What's up with that? That's freaking ridiculous. If you are not going to make it solely on one platform, then why not release it on all the platforms altogether? I mean, if you are going to release it on PC anyway, then why would you try to make some sort of a stupid deal where that game gets released on PC but not on that other console? That is the most ridiculous deal I've ever seen. That's not exclusivity. That's just stupidity. It just makes me not want to get a console. In fact, at this generation, Wii-U, imagine, Wii-U has actual exclusives. If I wanted to go spend my money on something, then it will be Wii-U, because games that appear on Wii U doesn't appear on my PC anyway. So, yeah, Wii U's the winner. Why just? And I know there are going to be some bots and drones and fanboys out there who are like, yeah, but my console gaming experience, it's better. All of my friends are playing on Xbox and shit like that. Well, yeah, they are. For now, until they smarten up, and you better start that smarting up from yourself and your friends will follow. Because you have just spent fuck ton of money on a piece of plastic that can barely even run games. And it doesn't have any fucking exclusives. I'm disappointed at this generation. I seriously am. Even though, yeah, it is kind of sad that certain games, certain exclusives don't appear on PC or on some other platform, exclusivity is still good. It's a business module. We need exclusives because exclusives, they generate competition. You heard me right, competition. It's good for the consoles. It doesn't matter what kind of a piece of shit your console is, as long as it has exclusives, it's worth of investing money on. Because of those freaking exclusives. But if those so-called exclusives we have in these days, which are like, has this ridiculous business module where it's going to be exclusive for like 2 months, it's not worth money investing your money on. I could understand if it would be solely on one console for like 10 or so years, but not freaking 2 months. Or, well, that's the like fastest I've seen a game appear on PC and other console as well. I think I'm getting flu. Or a year away. I mean, what's the point? Those kinds of deals, they are shit. They're shitty deals. They make consoles worthless. I mean, right now, see, especially as a PC gamer, I love consoles. I do have consoles back there. You can see, I think you can see all of my PlayStation 2 games, my Nintendo 64 back there, my Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and Nintendo games. I do like playing on consoles. That's not the problem. But the problem is, if I can play all of those games on my PC anyway, which I can upgrade whenever I want, with any amount of money that I want, and even if I were to build a PC from ground up, why would I spend any money on a console if all of these games are going to appear on my PC anyway? I've been using PC since Windows 95, so I have no trouble using it, and especially as easy as it is to use PC right now, these new Windows, ever since Windows XP, the using PC, it's been like a child's toy. You don't even need to install the drivers yourself anymore, and you can get any controller, any form of option for controlling. You can even have wave motion thingy on your computer. You can play your Wii-U sticks, Xbox controller, PlayStation controller, anything. And you have this alternative third-party controllers that you can play on your freaking PC. You can use them on your PC. So, when I spend my money on PC, it's way better spent than it is spent on this 8th generation consoles right now. Because 8th generation consoles, they are a fucking joke. Even connectivity to television is not an issue anymore, because I can take my PC and connect it into my big ass 4K TV and play it on my couch. I can even specifically build a small, and I do mean really tiny PC, about this size, I believe. This size. It's not too big. PC and shove it under my couch and play it wirelessly. And I can do all that for like 300 to 600 bucks. About 500 bucks, 4 to 500 bucks is what you need. Only is what you need to get a competent gaming PC. So right now, as I've stated many times before, if these companies, Microsoft, Sony, doesn't realize that they really have to put some money on these games in order to give them solely exclusive on their consoles, there's no reason for me to go to either way. The reason why I buy consoles is exclusive games, not fucking watching TV on my TV or browsing YouTube on my fucking PSN network. Just give me exclusives. That's what I want, and that is why only reason why I am going to get Wii-U in this generation of consoles, because Wii-U, it has really fucking great exclusives. And most of the Wii-U games, they've been optimized for the system to run at the best, highest settings as possible without any frame rate issues or shit like that. Unlike Shitbox 1 and PlayStation 4, I mean, seriously, Sony, Microsoft, use that money. Try to hold on to those exclusives because they are important to you. That is what makes you customers. The hype about the fanboyism, it's not going to last too long if you don't have anything to go by. Just show that money on those exclusives. You need them. And people want them. People love it that they have something to argue over. They love it that no matter how much they hate you, they have to put that money in there just so they could play that one fucking game. Anyways, that concludes my rant about exclusives. You guys probably are wondering what I mean that you can get a competent gaming PC for 300 to 600 bucks. Well, I will post a link below which will lead you into a site where you can handpick your own PC parts. Here are a few pointers what you want to do when you're building your own PC from ground up. Never buy a pre-built PC. Those PCs suck. They're expensive, and only thing that is expensive in them is the brand name. B. When you are building a gaming PC in these days, you want to lean towards the AMD. I know Intel does really great products. I know Nvidia does really great graphics cards. This is pretty much a matter of preference. I personally prefer Nvidia graphics card because they are good, they are sturdy, and they are really powerful cards, but the problem with them is that they are really expensive. So what you want to get is at least AMD Radeon R9 graphics card, 250X, I believe. That is the bare minimum, which will pretty much run any game at very good settings at 1080p 60 frames per second. Most of the games you should be able to play at high settings. Next thing what you want to get is a quad-core processor. and a motherboard which can understand, which has that can have that quad-core processor in it, and that quad-core processor, it has to run at least 3.2 gigahertz speeds. That is because that is the bare minimum that most of the games require in these days. It's really powerful. It will last basically for easily for next 5-6 years from now on. You also want to get at least 8 gigabytes of RAM and a power supply that is about 500 watts. Because if you will buy a power supply that is lower than 500 watts, there is a chance that when you connect the power, your power supply will just fry up because it doesn't generate enough power to handle all of the computing parts you have. If you already have PC, but you're thinking of getting a new one, salvage all the parts from your old PC that you can. The most important parts that you want to salvage is the multimedia optical drive, CD, DVD, Blu-ray drive if it has one, and another one is your hard drive. If it's still a good and usable hard drive and you don't see any reason to upgrade it, you want to use that old hard drive on your new PC. You can here in my mouth. You can also use the old power supply in your new PC if it is at least 500 watts. What else? If there are any external ports, you don't have to buy them again. You can just plug them into your new PC. And don't worry, building your own new PC from ground up, it's really easy. There are many example videos out there that will tell you from point 1 to point 2 how to build your own gaming PC from ground up. So there is no way you can do anything wrong. And next time you need to open that PC of yours is like 4 to 6 years in the future when you're adding more RAM into it or exchanging a new and more powerful graphics card to it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. PC Elitist Gaming.